right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Well, it's been a warm and windy day in St. Louis. Things are about to change. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. We are tracking some storms that could affect your weekend plans. A weather impact alert is issued for Sunday. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has the latest on this.
Well, you know, as we look into the evening and overnight hours, it's a few showers that are trying to push in, and that'll be with us tomorrow. But it is Sunday when we have the greatest concerns for the potential of severe weather across the area. And we say potential. It's definitely not a lock, but it's one of those scenarios where it looks like all the ingredients are coming together, especially Sunday afternoon, perhaps into early Sunday evening. Everything is still on the table, including the potential of tornadoes, along with gusty winds and hail. It is not the same setup as March 14th. But nonetheless, there is that potential for impacts. So just stay weather aware this weekend. Don't cancel your plans on Sunday just yet, but make sure you have a way to get weather information. Make sure you're staying up to speed on the forecast. Showers coming in overnight and tomorrow with this system down to the south. That's not severe. What's out to our west coming from the Four Corners? That is the energy that we get on Sunday. Here's your timeline Sunday. We're expecting some morning showers around and clouds that may limit how unstable it gets. But then midday into the afternoon hours, expecting thunderstorms to develop out ahead of a cold front. Again, some uncertainty here, but as we head towards the evening hours, a trend towards shifting it east and southeast of St. Louis. The severe weather threat at this point, it's a level 3 out of 5. That'll get updated in just a couple of hours. Tracy will have the latest on that tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Today in St. Louis.
All right, Scott, and we will keep you up to date on those storms all weekend, on air, online, and on the 5+ app. It is free. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355. After the hard work of first responders on March 14th following the tornadoes, a Franklin County police officer and his family are now in need of a new place to call home. Annie Krall hears about how their house was wrecked after living there for only 10 days.
I thought we were going to die, just being honest. I kind of accepted it. I was like, I'm 40, I've had a pretty good life, but my kids, they're so young. So my instinct was just to protect them the best I could.
A little bit before 9 p.m. on March 14th, Pacific Police Officer Gary Watson and his family remember what they heard outside their door in Villa Ridge.
The trees, I'm talking full grown, it's kind of a wooded area up there, and they were just snapping.
The windows of this house on London Court are still blown out 2 weeks after the storm came through. Officer Watson telling us about how his family was terrified that night.
And as I'm trying to shut the door to the bathroom, the front of the house it just gets ripped off, right? It's just, and it tries sucking me out. I'm holding onto the door down there. If we'd still been on that pad, we were gone. Luckily, we're like 5 feet from death.
So my dad said if there is any warning or anything, I'll get like a siren on my phone. And that was like 20 minutes before. Then 20 minutes after, the alarm went off, and I gave everybody that look like, am I gonna die today?
Not something most 9.5-year-olds have to think about.
The door flung open and it almost took him out, and I was like scared to death. I was texting everybody I love them, and like this might be my last time to say that.
We were in the bathroom, like me and Ren were crying really hard.
Finally going outside to get under better shelter before a second wave.
And I told the kids, I'm like, stay behind me, take my every step, I'm gonna have my flashlight out. If I go down, I probably got electrocuted, don't step there, okay? So of course they're emotional about it, but I was just trying to be as real as I could.
The rock of the family, they say, has been 10-year-old Kyson.
A little bit after, we had to go down because Papa, he got there, so we had to like walk down the street more, but we couldn't get across because there were a bunch of trees just blocking the way and power lines.
A couple miles away at work, Officer Watson's fiancée, Kelly, was blocked by some of those downed trees and power lines.
So in my mind, I'm like, I have 2 choices here. I either wait this storm out in Pacific and see if I can't get there, or I just head for it because I don't know if I'm going to have anyone or anything when I get home.
Despite the traumatic storm, they're still planning to have a wedding on April 19th.
Nobody wants to lose anyone close to them, but to think that you're going to come home and have no home, no spouse, no kids. Like, I didn't go to work that day thinking that was going to happen to me.
Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
If you would like to donate to Officer Watson's family as they rebuild, you can find a link to their GoFundMe in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. You can also find the officer's email there if you're able to help them find a 4-bedroom home to move into. Right now, St. Louis County Police are investigating a triple shooting in the Bell Fountain Neighbors area. It happened on Donkey Drive around 1:30 today. Officers found 2 men and a woman had been shot. All 3 were taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. No word yet on any suspects. If you have any information, you're asked to call County Police. You can also leave an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. The number 866-371-TIPS. Abortion procedures have resumed in Missouri for the first time since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The first one was Thursday. This comes after Missouri voters overturned the state's abortion ban in November. But only surgical abortions are allowed right now. The state requires doctors to fill out separate complication plan forms to do abortions. Last month, Planned Parenthood submitted one of those plans. 3 weeks later, Attorney General Andrew Bailey sent a cease and desist letter ordering the organization to not perform medication abortions. And the State Department of Health and Senior Services added new emergency rules to restrict the procedure.
So this is an artificial requirement that has been set up. And it does not protect folks. It really inhibits access. So anyone who's seeking an abortion in Missouri, whether with us or Planned Parenthood of Great Plains, needs to travel out of state if they want a medication abortion.
Planned Parenthood is referring patients who seek medication abortions to the Fairview Heights facility in Illinois. The Missouri House could pick up the abortion debate again next week. Hours ago, dozens of soccer fans turned out for a pregame scrimmage fundraiser to show their love for recovering St. Louis police officer Nathan Spees. The officer was badly injured along Interstate 70 while arresting a carjacking suspect. New tonight, Robert Townsend shows us how his friends and the community continue to rally around him.
It looked like just another soccer game, but talk to number 17 on the Dueling for Lincoln team, and he'll tell you every kick, dribble, and goal during this game was for a good cause.
We want to raise money for our buddy.
More than a week ago, Tim Manziel's best friend, St. Louis police officer Nathan Spees, was arresting a teenage carjacking suspect on I-70 when both were struck by a passing car. The 31-year-old officer's right leg had to be amputated.
I was devastated.
Officer Spees played as a defender for his team.
He was one of the most solid defenders we had. He was extremely consistent and ferocious and an absolute bulldog for us. And obviously he's never going to be out here with us again, we don't think.
Spees' soccer buddies took to the field at Family Arena in St. Charles Friday. In just a week, they quickly organized this game as a way to help their friend, who so far has undergone 3 surgeries.
$5 out of each ticket sold is going towards his GoFundMe.
We felt sad for him.
Maggie Rubato and her nephew were among the dozens at the fundraiser.
It's just a great cause.
It's pretty cool that they help out him.
Officer Spees had planned on being here for the game, but late this afternoon he got word of another special event in his honor and had to bow out.
They have a whole planned surprise party for him. And I guess a bunch of the city cops are all driving by his house, and his family members are all gonna give him a homecoming.
Heartwarming events for the beloved officer many are pulling for.
He's here in spirit.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
So far, a GoFundMe has raised more than $131,000 for Officer Spees. You can find a link on our website under the As Seen on TV section. Nearly a half dozen businesses in the St. Louis area are boycotting Anheuser-Busch after the beer giant declined to sponsor Pride St. Louis this year. Rehab Bar and Grill made the announcement on Wednesday. Bar PM followed suit the next day. Its co-owner James Penn says they'll finish selling what they have in stock to donate 25% of those sales to Pride St. Louis. He says it's important to stand with the LGBTQ community.
It's sad to see companies, when it was popular and okay to be involved in Pride, they were all about it. But as soon as the political environment changes, they want to step away and not be in the spotlight. And it's sad to see that a business responds that way.
The Improv Shop and Platypus in the Grove and Kenny's Upstairs Bar on South Grand have also said they'd stop carrying AB products. 5 on Your Side has reached out to the company for comment. We have not heard back. A powerful earthquake hit Southeast Asia, and a St. Louis woman was in Thailand when it hit. She shares her terrifying experience with us. And St. Louis getting a 2-for-1 punch. Allergy season and flu season. Doctors tell us the best ways to avoid the worst parts of these seasonal sniffles. Right now, officials are searching for the missing after a devastating earthquake hit Southeast Asia today. More than 140 people are believed to be dead, hundreds more injured. And the U.S. Geological Survey estimates the death toll could reach into the thousands. The 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar crumbled multiple buildings, sent people running for their lives. Myanmar is in a state of emergency as survivors are rushed to the hospital. Humanitarian aid is already working to help areas hardest hit.
It's a developing emergency, and our priority is to ensure that affected communities receive the help that they need as quickly as possible. And we stand by as the IFRC, ready to scale up our support as the needs become clearer and access allows.
Operations continue tonight as Myanmar appeals for international help. President Trump says the U.S. will provide assistance. And tonight we are hearing from a St. Louis woman who is in Thailand on vacation. She was in a hotel room across from the skyscraper that came crashing down, prompting her and others to run for their lives. Brent Solomon is in studio with more on her terrifying experience, Brent.
And what's more, Kelly, the 24-year-old is there all alone. She embraced the challenge of actually being a solo traveler, never to imagine a once-in-a-lifetime experience that would claim lives right before her very eyes. Micah Chavers of St. Louis is a world traveler. Canada, Belize, the Dominican Republic.
I tried to come to Thailand like a couple of years ago, but things didn't work out for me as far as my flight. I just so happened to miss it. And my sister's like, maybe you shouldn't go to Thailand. I'm like, no, I need to get to Thailand because it's beautiful.
So she went. She's been there a week now, taking in the sights and sounds of her dream vacation.
I want to take a picture with the elephants. I want to take a picture with the tigers. You know, you see the things, you see Fifi Island and things of that nature.
So much to do with no signs destruction would follow. Until it did.
My adrenaline just starts rushing. I'm like, I gotta go. I grab my purse with my passport, my money, just in case I have to go. That's the only thing that's important. Forget my suitcase, forget everything else.
Here she is, running to safety after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake destroyed a high-rise across from her hotel.
I'm literally like grabbing the railing on each side and launching my body, jumping down the steps because this is fight or flight.
She makes it out unharmed, although more than 100 people died. The death toll is expected to grow.
There was a lot of glass that was breaking in the stairwell. There was a lot of glass that was breaking like in the lobby area. It was pretty crazy. People's feet were cut up when we finally got outside from the glass and trying to run. I'm grateful and I'm blessed because I could have been in the mix of it.
Chavers plans to spend some more time there, not letting this disaster cut her trip short. Plus, she says the airports in the area are closed as the country has declared a state of emergency.
Oh, thank you, Brent. Wow, what a story. It is windy and warm, and if you have spring allergies, you know what that means. Your symptoms are likely going to get worse. Health experts say that heavy wind can easily blow allergens around, even if you're only outside for a short time. And on top of that, we're still in flu season. While influenza A is tapering off, influenza B is starting to peak along with other springtime viruses. That may make it difficult to determine what you have. Doctors suggest taking allergy meds early to decrease your symptoms.
And if you get those started early, hopefully it will prevent the severe symptoms. But if you are trying those medications and the symptoms continue to progress or do not improve within a week or so, then it may be progressing into something different, or it may be a viral infection or sinus infection on top of it.
If your little one is suffering from the springtime sniffles, it's recommended you talk with a doctor before giving them any over-the-counter medications. Let's check in with Chief Weather Impact Meteorologist Scott Connell. Boy, the winds were really whipping today. And now we're looking at some possible severe weather for Sunday?
It really looks like Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening is going to be the timeline for us to see the more active storms. No guarantee that it'll happen in St. Louis. It's a pretty wide area that we have here, encompassed under that enhanced risk of level 3, but that does at this point include most of the St. Louis area, and everything's still on the table. Winds, hail, possibly tornadoes. One would think the worst of it will probably be east and southeast of St. Louis, but here's the thing. We don't know the specifics on exactly how this is all going to play out. We see that the ingredients are there. They have to interact with each other in just a certain way. We'll see how that continues to evolve here over the next couple of days. Sunday afternoon storms are likely. Gusty winds, certainly large hail, but the uncertainty still exists. Let's talk about what's going on across the region right now and what we're looking at for Sunday. Basically, as we head towards Sunday, in the morning hours, we're kind of dodging a few showers and thunderstorms that come in from the overnight out of mid-Missouri, and what's left of that will be meandering across the bi-state area. This is a good thing to have early morning and mid-morning showers on Sunday, and the more cloud cover, the better. That keeps our temperatures down, that keeps the instability at bay a little bit. We do think the sun will start breaking through towards lunchtime. That's about when the showers and thunderstorms most likely start to develop. This is also about the time when they move into St. Louis that the Cardinals are trying to take the field, that City SC is trying to take the pitch. We'll see how this evolves, but be prepared to adjust your plans a little bit on Sunday. The better chances, it looks like, for more significant active weather is east and southeast of St. Louis. This line will continue to evolve Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, and then it pushes south and east. So that risk will shift away from us as we head into Sunday night, and then the colder air will shift in here. So Sunday afternoon into the evening hours, we'll be a little more specific as we go into tomorrow with the timing on this, since we still have some questions about that. But everything's still on the table as far as the hazards. Just stay aware this weekend. Stay up to date with the forecast. Gary's going to be giving you updates tomorrow. Tracy's going to be giving you updates tomorrow. And just know your safe spot should you need to get there in a hurry on Sunday. Right now, you have these spotty showers down to our south. They're very light, not really amounting to much. Through the overnight hours, they keep nudging our way into tomorrow morning from St. Louis east and south. That's when we're dealing with them. And then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, most of that shifts away, and then we'll be dry tomorrow evening. We had a warm day today. Temperature climbed to 83 degrees. It is still 71. The wind's still out of the south at 8 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, some showers, morning showers tomorrow. Because of the clouds tomorrow, we're likely to stay in the 60s, and it won't be as windy tomorrow either. 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts today. That wasn't even with any thunderstorms. That was when the sun was out. And then as we go into Sunday, again, just basically what we want you to do is just stay weather aware this weekend. There is that potential we're going to have some strong storms. Not everybody's going to see one. Coming up here at about 10:33, 10:32, we're going to hop on 5+, and I'll be able to talk a little bit more about all of this.
I know you will. All right. Thank you, Scott. Corey, what's up with sports?
Well, the Battlehawks started their season with a soaring performance down in Houston, and the Blues are adding an exciting piece to their stretch run. Sports is on deck after the break. It is the most glorious time on the St. Louis sports calendar. All 4 of our major professional teams are now in action. The Battlehawks were the last to join the party, but they sure came to play in tonight's opener against Houston. Battlehawks coach Anthony Beck kicking off the UFL schedule against the Roughnecks down in Houston. Manny Wilkins, he's the first QB up for St. Louis this year. And Jacob Sailors ran wild all game long. Gets in the end zone to start the scoring. 6-0 Battlehawks. Defense was on point in this one as well. Lucas Dennis, that's a pick six. Not a pick six, just a pick. Still pretty good. It was Wilkins' time to shine at QB in the opener. Second rushing TD of the game for the starter. He was great tonight. Max Duggan did eventually play in this game. They didn't need his arm, though. Jarvian Howard, monster run for another Battlehawks touchdown. What an effort right there. St. Louis runs for 273 total yards, a UFL record, as they crush Houston 31-6. The St. Louis Blues can simply do no wrong. They've won 8 games in a row and are currently 5 points up for that second wildcard spot. Last week, they added one of their top prospects to the roster in Dalibor Dvorsky. And next week, they'll add another. Jimmy Snuggerud is finally a St. Louis Blue.
The 23rd selection, the St. Louis Blues are pleased to select Jimmy Snuggerud, NTDP.
That's how Snuggerood's Blues journey started as the 23rd overall pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. Snuggerud has opted to stay in college since then at Minnesota, but after his Gophers were eliminated from the NCAA tournament last night, he decided to make the jump. The forward signed a 3-year entry deal with the Blues and will be in St. Louis on Monday. He's coming off a 24-goal campaign in his junior season at Minnesota. Today is that awkward off day after opening day before the Cardinals and Twins resume their series tomorrow at Busch. If the Cards are going to be successful this season, yesterday was a pretty good blueprint. Solid pitching, timely offense from guys you need to see break out, great defense, and a dominant bullpen. You may have also noticed the aggressiveness yesterday. That's by design, and Ollie wants to see it every day.
Yeah, and we're going to learn from moments that don't go our way, right? Like today, it went our way. There are situations where early leaves at first based on something that we have on a pitcher, and it led to a balk and a ball thrown away. It easily could have been 2 outs at second. And are you going to shy away because it didn't work, or are we going to keep the pedal down knowing that, hey, we're going to stay aggressive and we're going to be smart, but we're going to stay aggressive. So work to our advantage today, and we're going to continue to build on those type of moments.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC doesn't play again until Sunday when they host Austin at Energizer Park. When they do, they'll be without midfielder Edward Leuven with his red card in Philly. He's out for the game and is also taking some personal time away from the team. Here's what the head coach had to say about replacing one of his stars.
The biggest change for us will be the free kicks. He's top class in the direct free kicks and the delivery in the final third. I mean, that's Edu's strength. Definitely someone else has to step in and hopefully get another goal on a free kick.
We have an awesome Sports Plus on deck Sunday night. Jim Montgomery is in studio to talk about his hottest team in hockey, and the one and only Nature Boy Ric Flair stops by as well. That's Sunday night at 10:30. Almost did the Ric Flair woo, but I decided against
Come on, do it.
Woo! I can't do
There
it.
we go.
Oh, no.
All right, I love it. Springtime in Lafayette Park, how the landscape looks a bit different after the loss of a decades-old feathered friend. It's spring and Lafayette Park is the place to be, especially if you're into swans. The majestic birds have been hanging out there since 1872, but right now there's only one. Photojournalist Doug Howell visits Lafayette Park and introduces us to Sophia.
When the park was created, it was called Lafayette Square, and a few years later the name was changed to Lafayette Park, and the area around it became known as Lafayette Square. And it's been supported by the neighbors since its founding. It's a busy time in the park. A week ago, you barely saw anything. You have the jonquils, that are daffodils, that are coming up all over the place. See, the forsythia is blooming, crocus. They come in a variety of color, yellow, white, purple.
Come on.
People absolutely love the swans in the park.
Good girl, good girl.
There's quite a history of the swans in Lafayette Park. Joe and Diane gifted swans to the park.
They get chopped lettuce, cracked corn, and protein pellets. Well, we only have the one now. This is Sophia. She's probably about 20 years old. On February the 13th, I came down here and found one of the swans dead. She was probably about 20 years old. I think she probably just died of old age. I don't know.
They really, really are enchanting birds. They just really are.
People just like to watch them.
Park visitors have been worried about Sophia being lonely without her friend Samantha. Expert tells us that they are very territorial, so introducing a new swan after 20 years is not the best idea. Sophia does have other waterfowl sharing the grotto at Lafayette Park.
The mallards are fine to share the water with, but no more swans.
Yes.
All right, if you're heading out tomorrow, some showers in the morning, and then on Sunday, it's the weather impact alert, especially afternoon, evening. I'll see you on 5 Plus here in about a minute.
Just a minute, okay. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon is next. Have a great night.